Hey guys, let me welcome you today to Aspect 6.1.0, the Pale Update. This update brings full support for 1.21.50, including all the Pale Garden features, and it's out now for both Java and console aspects. This is the fastest I've ever put an update together, and my goodness, it is not going to happen again. That is insane that this update came together in less than 3 weeks, and it's got as many features as it does. So let's go through them starting now. First off, sound stuff. This update introduces a lot of new block types, and whenever there's a new block type, Mojang loves to add new sounds along with it. So, sponges have gotten their sounds officially added to Bedrock, but just to prove to you, they still work in Java aspects. Lovely, squishy, kinda ugly sounding. Resin is not going to get any better though. Resin bricks as well. The creaking heart is very interesting. And all of those place and break sounds now have the same attenuation distance as the other block sounds in the pack. So when you're placing distant resin, it's not that much quieter than when you place it right next to you, unlike the vanilla Bedrock edition. Glow Lichen also now has walking sounds for when you're walking on it that sound like vines instead of grass. And finally, Pale Hanging Moss now uses moss carpet sounds instead of moss blocks, which is really hard to tell the difference. But there is a small difference in pitch. Now we enter the Entity Zone, because this update includes all sorts of entity changes from animations and sounds, starting with the creaking, the star of the Pale Garden update. When the creaking has a target and the eyes glow, they now glow equally bright as the eye blossom. Previously in Bedrock, they were a little bit darker than the eye blossom, so you could tell the difference. But now with Java aspects, you can't tell it at all. I didn't realize you could kill him. When the goat looks around, the head now moves a lot more like Java Edition. It honestly looks kinda weird, but that's how the Java devs wanted it to look, so now that's how it looks in Java aspects. Underwater mobs have gotten some more love in this update, so now the dolphin tail is the same length as Java Edition, and the swimming animation moves the tail like it does on Java. Also, when the dolphin is set free to roam around, the particles that it trails behind it are blue squares instead of bubbles. The tadpole swimming animation and model have also been updated to match Java. The tadpole tail is slightly longer, and the animation is now smooth. Blazes have received yet another change in this update because now they have full directional shading. So let's free him, or Hi, I guess, and you can see that the rods and head are now shaded differently depending on the side of the mob. This makes it look like all other mobs instead of glowing weirdly in the dark. This also applies for classic textures and for console aspects. I did have a wolf here. Something happened. There, now he's back. So, warning, if you don't want to be annoyed by vanilla Bedrock forever, you need to stop watching right now, because I'm going to tell you something horrible. Oh, there were 2 wolves in there, because I'm going to tell you something horrible. The wolf model is off-center in Bedrock. It's 1 pixel off-center, so the shadows are too far in one direction, which just makes them look really weird when both sitting and standing. But now in aspects, the wolf is perfectly centered, as it should be. The mushroom was very neglected in past aspects updates because I never gave it the same treatment as the cow. But now the mushroom has perfect parity with the cow inside Java aspects. It has the same shorter model, so the body ends at the front legs instead of going over. And it has a less aggressive walking animation, so the legs no longer swing as crazily to match the normal cow. The bundle UI has been updated in 1.21.50 to include backgrounds on the item slots, so Java aspects now has those backgrounds, and when you highlight the backgrounds, the highlighted texture no longer has corners. Mace smash attack particles have received a large upgrade in this version because when you smash a mob with it, the particles are now an actual circle, and they go up the same amount as Java Edition. Very happy to have better looking mace particles. And before we finish with Java aspects and switch to console aspects, there are some new block sounds added in this update. These block sounds are the last few that we needed to have every single block sound from Java Edition added in Java aspects. Now, deep slate tiles sound higher pitched than deep slate bricks. Here's deep slate bricks. Here's deep slate tiles. They're very similar, but deep slate tiles are slightly higher pitched. Netherwart sounds are also now different than netherwart block sounds. This is probably the hardest one to notice, but small drip leaf sounds are now higher pitched than big drip leaf sounds. And finally, the cherry sapling place sound is now slightly louder than the bamboo sapling place sound. Again, these are very subtle differences, but these are the last ones we needed to have full block sound parity with Java Edition. Also, the beacon now plays stone sounds instead of glass sounds, which seems really weird to me as someone who's grown up on Console Edition, where they've always made glass sounds. Now let's switch to console aspects, but keep in mind that many of these features still apply to Java aspects. First order of business, some player animations have been improved in this update to be much smoother. First off, when you're drawing a crossbow, the arm now moves across the screen smoothly instead of being a little jaggy. The eating animation is also much smoother. Armor stands have seen some minor but still interesting changes. The base plates no longer rotate when the armor stand is facing 45 degrees, and when you change the pose of the armor stand, it now changes instantly instead of interpolating between the two positions. The armor stand just instantly snaps into its new look. And why have we chosen these 3 specific armor stands, especially the dinner bone one? Well, 3 special skin types have also been fixed in this update for console aspects. The first type we'll start with is the zombie, because zombie skins have arms that shoot out 90 degrees instead of going down at your sides like normal. This means that we had to fix a lot of animations to make them match console edition. For example, holding an item now adjusts your arm down. Riding in a minecart now makes your arms go up, which is hilarious because it looks like the zombie's just having a great time in this minecart. And when sneaking and gliding, the zombie skins no longer pose because I guess they are allergic to fun. Our second skin type is the single leg skin. This skin moves both legs together instead of separately. Now notice how much that single leg is moving. It is getting the work done. Because in console edition, the single leg moves just as much as both legs do on a normal skin. But on Bedrock edition, for some reason, the developers chose to make single leg skins move their leg less. And now that has been undone for console aspects. The third type of skin is the most interesting. It's the classic upside down skin from the Dinner Bone and Grum skins. And these ones are super annoying to fix. First off, they had the same leg issue as the single leg skins, so now they move even more dramatically when you're running. But the upside down skins also had huge issues when you were swimming. It would break just about every bone in your character's body when you tried to swim. Here's a screenshot of me trying to swim before. That's horrible. But now, when you swim as an upside down skin, it works perfectly. You can't even tell that anything was broken. This took a lot of work to look like nothing was done at all. Finally, when you crouch as an upside down skin, your head now remains in contact with the ground. In 1.21.60, Mojang is finally fixing the ugly double-sided texture bug where textures mirror on the east and west sides for a ton of blocks. But why would you bother waiting for 1.21.60 when Aspects has already fixed the crimson and warped roots in this update? These 2 blocks now no longer have ugly sides, just like flowers and saplings when you're using Aspects. Mob note block sounds are an often overlooked feature from 1.20, and so overlooked that no one even realized they were completely messed up. For some reason, Wither Skeleton note blocks were playing normal skeleton sounds, Piglin note blocks were playing the angry sound instead of the idle sound, Creeper note blocks were completely pitched wrong, actually most of the note blocks were pitched completely wrong, and Skeleton note blocks were playing the walk sound. What was going on? So in this version, I have completely fixed all the mob note block sounds so they actually sound like the mob that they're supposed to. I think that one is a very welcome fix because it makes these note blocks much more usable for fun traps, especially the creeper one. For some reason, 4J Studios chose to make zombie villagers in Console Edition almost identical to the height of villagers. In all other editions they're a lot taller, but now in console aspects, zombie villagers are the same height as normal villagers. Here's another weird 4J Studios choice. Campfire particles may look a little different to you right now because they are rotated 90 degrees. 4J, why did you choose to do this, and why am I required to replicate it for console aspects? In a recent Bedrock Edition update, some level 1 enchantments were changed so that they don't show their level. This is for enchantments like Mending or Infinity, which didn't even have higher levels, so why does it matter that they're level 1? Well, I care. So now, in console aspects, just like in Console Edition, you can see that level 1 enchantments are level 1. Curse enchantments are also a darker red. For a long time, I've been collecting all of the different controller tooltips from every different version of Minecraft Console Edition, and one set of tooltips that I thought we would never have in full quality were the Xbox One tooltips, because the Xbox One Edition games are encrypted super well. But somebody did figure it out recently, so we can now get full quality Xbox One Edition tooltips in console aspects, which means they're slightly darker, and they are now fully accurate. And finally, in the last aspects update, I changed all sounds to attenuate linearly, which means that you can hear them more when they're further away. This is a really good change, except that it also caused a lot of issues for some blocks that were supposed to be heard from farther than 16 blocks away. But in this update, I've gone through and fixed quite a few sounds that were affected by this issue. There might still be a few more, but one of them was TNT, and now you can hear TNT even when you're very far away. That should make exploding large things a lot more fun. And with that, the Pale update for aspects is now finished. Of course, there are a lot more changes in this update than I listed in this video. You can go and read the changelog if you want to read all of them. It's in the custom tab in-game. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you later.